I'm Lindsay Horan. I have worked for TaylorMade since 1980, or it was, and as part of that, our interaction with John was frequent, both at the farm and at the sales. He was an outstanding horseman in all aspects of the industry, wonderful to work with, very conscious of his fellow workers, what they needed, what he could do to influence them in a good way. We spent many hours working at the sales, Keeneland, Fasig-Tipton. I never did go up to Saratoga, but he certainly was a force behind much of TaylorMade's success in that area, and he sure will be missed by many in the industry.
Hey guys, this is Charles here, and my wife Candace. I met your grandfather 15 years ago at Keeneland with Candace, and he became a very special person in my life. We had a lot of similarities. I fell down like he did and got back up and continued my life on, and he's always been a huge support. Just remember his humility and his love for people, and that will take you a long way.
I worked with John, oh my gosh, maybe 18, 20 years. But more than anything, he was our friend. And he was a very sincere, very charming, very kind, and loving man, and we loved him very much.
Hi, I'm Daisy Battle. My husband worked at Keeneland. That's sort of how we met John. Been friends forever. And my nephew and his wife met, we all met at church on Sundays and went to breakfast.
So I'm Molly Sutherland, and we went to breakfast, met John, just always had that smile. And I remember one time I had a business plan, a business idea, and he introduced me to oh my gosh, Armin. Yeah, and I went up to Providence with him and got to share some time with his family, and he was just the neatest guy. We went to the Breeders' Cup in Santa Anita with him, and you know, he's just really a special guy.
My John story would be that in the course of a lifetime, if you're lucky enough, you can meet one or two people that really make a difference in your life, and he certainly was that person.
He was.
You're lucky to have him as your granddaddy.
Hello, my name is Juan Smith, and I'm very grateful that John Hall was in my life. He changed my life. When I first got around the sales, I was a little misfit, and he helped me take the better path and straighten me up, and I'm very grateful. It made me a better man today.
I'm Jan Rail, and I worked with John for 20 years at the sale grounds with TaylorMade, and I enjoyed every day working with John, and I wouldn't have stayed nearly that long if he wasn't there. And this is my husband, Al Rail.
Yeah, no, I was fortunate enough to meet John by marrying Jan and getting involved with horses and buying horses and going to the sale. And we bought a home in Lexington, and I know you've heard a lot about your dad or your grandfather and what a wonderful man he was and how he always cared about other people. But I'll give you a little story about John that really resonates with me about how truly a caring person he was. So we had a party and a barbecue in our backyard, and it was a Hawaiian luau. So we invited John and Debbie over for the party, and it was a Hawaiian luau. And John texts me and goes, "What do I wear to the Hawaiian luau?" And I said, "Well, just any kind of fun shirt or Hawaiian shirt." He says, "Well, I don't have a Hawaiian shirt. I'm going to have to go buy a Hawaiian shirt." And I said, "John, you don't have to buy a Hawaiian shirt. Just wear the most fun shirt you have in your closet." Well, sure enough, John, that wasn't good enough for John, and he went and bought a shirt to come to the party with, to show up and make sure that he really represented right for the kind of party we were having in our backyard. And a lot of people wouldn't have cared about that, but John did. And he not only cared about going out and buying himself a shirt, he came up to me and he goes, "How do you like this shirt? Is it good enough? Is it a good enough shirt?" So he was actually cared about what I thought about his shirt and whether or not that it was a good enough representation to show up at my party with that shirt. We always loved having John and Debbie over, and I'll speak for my wife Jan, but our lives are better because he passed through it, and we are better people because of John.
Hi, my name's Steve Avery, and it's hard to me to talk about John because we were really close. He was my golfing partner, my fantasy football partner. We looked at a lot of horses together at TaylorMade, and we'd argue about them all the time. He'd get irritated with me once in a while, and he'd stand right in front of me so I couldn't see the horse. And he'd go, "Don't even look at him." But what I can tell you about your grandfather is I've never met a guy that was so beloved by so many people. Anybody that saw John just lit up like a Christmas tree. And John reciprocated. And I guess I was lucky to be around him because he taught me a lot, and we just had so much fun. He really had a great impact on me, and I really enjoyed Kentucky mostly because of John. He was just fun to be around. Don't really have too many stories that I can tell that aren't clean enough. I can tell you that, let's see. Nah, that's good enough. All you need to know is that your grandpa was one special human being, and everybody loved him. Everybody lit up when they saw him.
Hey, my name is Kim Ball, and I taught a Bible study at Salvation Army that Debbie was a part of, and that's how I got to know Debbie and got to know John as a result as well. And I just know that John was a man of prayer, and I know he was always praying. He was praying in the morning, he was praying at night, and that was something really important to him. And so that just I always admired him for that. In the Catholic church that was in town, I know he was always there. He went every day that he was able to physically, he would be there at the church praying. And also I work at a rehab hospital, and he had a friend that was coming up from Florida that needed to go to the hospital, and he called and he checked in to see what I could do, or just to be able to talk to his friend, to go, and he wanted me to go check on his friend and go see him and see how he was doing. He really cared about them, and I told him how he was doing after I saw him, and so he really wanted to keep in touch and to know how this person was doing. And so just I saw another side of John, just how he cares for other people, and so it just really meant a lot to me.
My name is Barb Harrison, and my sister's name is Trish. And I know Debbie through the Salvation Army Bible study, but I came to know John when he was sick and going through his chemo treatments, and I would text John and Debbie just to try and give encouragement. But John would text, and he would talk about praying for Trish and I. My sister has a lot of health problems, and so he would pray for us, and I know that he truly did, and forever grateful for getting to know him. I know that he put on the full armor of God, and he showed great courage and strength while fighting the cancer, and that always encouraged me. And just the love that he showed for Debbie and Debbie had for him was an inspiration to me as well. I remember them sending videos of them being out in the yard with the animals, and John trying to walk when he just gotten out of the hospital with the stomach issues, and just persevering. And Debbie was encouraging him and just giving him encouragement and calling him Johnny with the most love in her voice. And he would look back at her and just with that big smile that just showed so much love. It was so incredible. And so I felt, even though I had never got to meet him personally, I had talked with him, and I just felt like he was a friend. And I loved them both, even though I never met him, just because of who the person he was and the love that he showed for me and my sister. So I'm grateful for that.
Hi, I'm Brooks Taylor. Your grandfather affected me in so many ways. I got to work with him for about 15 years. Or I've known him for about 15 years. And he literally taught me everything I know about horses. He got to see what people needed, and then he gave that to them. He basically encouraged everybody all the time. He was one of the best people I've ever known.
Hi, I'm Joe Taylor. My father's Frank, who thought so much of John Hall and kept in close contact with him till he passed away. John was just such an instrument in my life, and so I had the pleasure of being able to learn from him and just have him teach us so much throughout his time at TaylorMade. You know, when my grandfather passed away in 2003, John was so important to us. My dad and uncles were so busy running the farm, and John really stepped in and filled that hole we were missing then, and taught us so much, you know, and made me who I am today with the horses, and through faith. I mean, his faith was so strong. He taught so much, you know, was such an example without pushing the Word of God on you as much. He truly lived his life through example and really made change for the better. You all have a wonderful grandfather who's helped so many people, and you know, I love him to death, and I just want to say, I just wanted to let you all know how much he meant to me, and I know how much he means to you. If there's anything we can ever do for you all, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Hi, I'm Nancy Jensen. This is my daughter Kenzie, and I had the privilege of working with John Hall for many years at TaylorMade, and I loved working with him. He was just a fabulous individual. He always had respect for people, and he always brightened up the day. I looked forward to coming to work every day, and I'm going to miss him dearly. And I don't think there's another person that can take his place in this whole universe, because he just really brought it on. And I hope you all will realize how much we all did love him, and that he will continue loving everyone, even though he's in heaven. And Kens, do you want to say anything?
I'd like to say it was a privilege with working with John Hall, and he was a great boss to be around.
Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Hello, my name is Robert Neal Pettit. My friends know me as Bobby. As I used to tell John Hall, if I ever get called any other 4 or 5 letter words other than those two, pay no mind to those people, John. John was a friend of mine. I met him at TaylorMade sales several years ago. I worked with TaylorMade for about 8 years, and meeting John Hall was one of the nicest experiences of my life. John was a blessing. John, I know where you are, and I love you, and thank you for being the friend to me like you were to everyone. One of the things I'd like to relate for the family is I was always impressed immediately by the humbleness that John Hall showed, just in the way he went about things, his humbleness in meeting people, his interactions. But through that humbleness, John showed his integrity. His character showed through on every situation. He had the weight of the world so often on his shoulders, but he never let that get in the way at the appropriate time of being able to give you an explanation on any type of question you might have. I was a sales representative for TaylorMade, so I'd see a lot of things. I'd ridden racehorses 50 years ago, but so many other things I wasn't aware of, like growth spurts in horses and the different ailments that could develop through that. And John was always so patient, and he couldn't explain it in the way that he wanted. He'd get a veterinarian there to help him process it, to help me understand it. John, I just adored you. It was always a pleasure to know you. I love you. And to the family, we all shared a great loss and we all shared a great blessing. God bless all, and thank you.
Hi, my name is Joe Diorio. I'm a photographer out in Florida coming to the sales, but enough of me. John, we miss you. The smile. Every time I used to come by the barn, it was always a good time, always having good laughs. I didn't know the guys as much as other guys knew him, but I always had respect for him, not because he's just as old as I am, but he was a great guy just to be around and hang out. And Debbie, she was a great girl, marrying him, or him marrying her. Like they say, it takes a man to marry a woman, so they get him straight right. And so, but anyway, we miss you, John, and bless you, that's all I can say. And I'll see you up there someday. Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Boyd Browning. I work with Fasig-Tipton. I had the pleasure of working with John for over 25 years. We did a lot of sales together, from Saratoga to the Kentucky sales, especially the November sale, where he was such a major factor in a lot of the really expensive brood mares and broodmare prospects that were sold. John was a great friend of mine and a great friend of many people in the industry. He was a man of the utmost integrity, but he also had a great sense of humor. Was just a delightful human being to be around. I was proud to call him my friend. I'll miss him very much, but I'm thankful for the many contributions he made to me and the many people in our industry.
My name is Ira Siegler. I worked for TaylorMade 21 years. I met John Hall, and the day I met him, he was automatic, a lifting spirit. And I'm blessed that I still have some of John Hall's spirit. When I'm down, I could just think of John Hall, and I feel like the world is going to be okay. So I feel very blessed that I got to talk to John Hall before he passed. I feel very blessed to know his wife, Debbie Hall. Your grandkids, John Hall, your grandkids should be very lucky, very blessed, because you are their grandfather, and I'm blessed just to have you walk into my life. And the things you showed me will always be in my heart. I would take it to my grave with me, and I want to pass on some of your greatness to other people that I meet, and hope they get the same effect that you have done on me. Thank you, John Hall.
Hi, my name's Pat Payne. I've known John for probably 35 years, and the things that people said about John, I hope when I die, they say the same things about me. John and I were a lot alike. 97% of the time, John and I have a smile on our face, but when he was pissed, and you knew it. I'm the same way. The one thing, because there were a lot of good things said about John, but what wasn't said, he was a teacher. He was like Daddy Joe Taylor. Daddy Joe taught a lot of us, including me, and John has taught a lot of people. So you have to have a legacy, and his legacy is he was a great human being, and he was a very good teacher. And there's a lot of people who showed up today that came from out of town because he taught them. And I'm going to leave it at that.
I'm Montana. I'm not going to give my full name because nobody knows it anyhow. But I think I met John in an AA meeting here in Lexington. And I found out he was Pete Hall's brother. And me and Pete Hall go back a long ways. My first stint at Garden State Racetrack, I had a thoroughbred that held the track record for 1.70 miles at Centennial Racetrack, and they only give me half a stall for him for pony, because he wasn't a good enough racehorse to have a racehorse stall. And Pete Hall, I got him over there to inject his shoulders because that old horse couldn't even walk coming out of half a stall. And that's how I got to know John Hall, because Pete Hall saved that horse's life. And of course then I was working for TaylorMade, but I think that was before John went to work for him. But Debbie said he's got 27 years sober, and I got better. I'm 37 years sober. So anyhow, John, I was shocked when I was driving to Lexington tonight to get, I get pulp from the juicer at the Good Foods Co-op because it's mostly organic carrots for my 31-year-old mare that's a twin that hasn't died yet because she hadn't got any teeth. So me and John would know all about that. We're low on teeth. I'm glad to see his dentist showed up, but I doubt my dentist will ever show up for me. And damn, I wish I'd have known he was sick. I'd have been right there alongside of him. And Debbie, I know, took really good care of him, so. He's got the tailor-made family. I'm an outcast, so that's all I gotta say. Rest in peace, John.
Hi, my name is Dawn. I've been with TaylorMade for about 15 years. John Hall was a mentor to me. It's never been the same without him there. We all loved him. He was very kind, welcomed everyone, whether you knew something about horses or not. He would teach you what you didn't know. You might get a little scolding for something you should have known. But I just wanted you to know how much we loved him and what a beautiful service we just had for John. And that's all I can say. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Frank Taylor. I just wanted to say a little bit about John Hall and his life and what my experience were with John. John was a very good friend of mine. He was a great horseman, just a great person, very good with people, had lots of friends, and he helped a lot of people out. John worked for TaylorMade, which my brothers and I owned for over 25 years. He was one of the best team members we've ever had, and he really set a great example and had a positive influence on many people around him. John always had a big smile on his face and was always willing to help anybody he could. He was just a great example of how to live life and to be a great person. He was that for sure. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Tom McGreevy, and I've known John for quite a few years, mainly through TaylorMade, and I'm an agent by horses, so we had a lot of interaction, and it was very interesting. I think John was the only guy that ever called me Tommy. Every time I see him, hey Tommy, how you doing? So it was always with a smile, and always walked away from John with a smile on your face and with determination to be a better person and to maybe help somebody else smile that day. So John was just the best guy.
So my name is Samantha McGreevy, and I am a current TaylorMade employee. And I actually have to start by saying something bad about John, and that is that I didn't get to spend enough time with him because his time at TaylorMade had officially passed by the time I got there. But the short time I did get with John, wow, I can't even sum up the kind of person he was. You know, I actually think I woke up this morning, yesterday was a horrible day. It's the sales, it is exhausting. People are driving me crazy. John worked with all of them, he knows. And I woke up this morning and I just said, today's a new day. I'm gonna be happy, I'm gonna get this done. And now sitting at that, listening to everyone talk about how wonderful John Hall was, I think that was John Hall telling me, you got many years left doing this and you need to be happy because this is what you love and you're good to be here. So I think I credit John for that, and he shared that love for this industry with everyone, and I feel special to know him, and I think anyone who knew him feels that way. So I love John Hall very much.
Hi guys, I understand this is, we're talking about your grandfather, so it's for your grandkids. I wanted to let you guys know what an influence your dad was in my life personally and to everybody, and the kind of person he truly was. For me personally, he was a major influence in my life, and even more so in my professional career. I wouldn't be where I am today without your grandfather, John Hall. And one of the things that was said tonight about him, which couldn't be more true, is I've never met a person that doesn't like John Hall. lot of us might have got mad at him, even myself. I used to work for him, and I've taken some yelling at and different things. And when John would yell at me, I wasn't mad that he yelled at me. I was mad at myself because it hurt me inside to know John was mad at me. That's the kind of guy he was. I cared that much about what John thought of me. He's a great human being, and he'll be missed dearly by all of us. Not many days go by I don't think about him and what he's taught me and what he's meant to me personally. And I'll tell you, on top of what a great person and how much he cared about each individual that he met and wanted to make them feel important. He was also a very tough guy. Just real quick story for y'all. You can tell your kids someday is I was walking out of yearling behind your grandfather one day, and the horse got to the end of the shank and kicked John as hard as I've ever seen a person be kicked. I let my horse go. I was worried about him. He was 70 some years old at the time. And he's literally crawling up the fence one arm at a time, telling me to go grab my horse, he's fine. So on top of being an outstanding human being, he's one of the toughest men I've ever known. I'll never forget John Hall and what he meant to me personally and what kind of person he is. And I hope someday that I could be half the man your grandfather was.
Hello, my name is Mark Taylor, and I've known John Hall for most of my life. I met John Hall when I was just a young kid, and he would come down to the horse sales and buy horses, and I had the honor and the privilege of working side by side with John Hall for close to 20 years once I was an adult. And what I'd like to say to John's grandkids, and even I'd like to say to John Hall's ancestors or his descendants that might not even be old enough to listen to this yet, is that, you know, your ancestor, John Hall, was this amazing person, right? That he had this ability to connect with people, change people's lives by just caring for them in very ordinary day-to-day situations, and just showing care for the individual that was in front of him at that moment. And that's a great gift that some people don't have, and frankly, it's kind of a dying gift in the world. Like, so many people are glued to technology, they're glued to just material things in their lives, that they don't take time to just care and listen and do the little things for another person. So if you're hearing this and you know, John is part of your family, you should be very proud and very honored to call him family, and you can follow his example in life. You know, that would be a great legacy for him if there was lots of Hall descendants in the future that all cared for people, went the extra mile to help their neighbor, had great faith in God, and overcame obstacles in their life, because I think that's what John Hall did. But he was an amazing guy, just great. He was funny. He was very non-judgmental. He accepted everyone, and he just had a way to bring out the best in people. And so be proud that John Hall is part of your family, and you know, just use his legacy to inspire you to lead a great life. And we love all John Hall's family. We loved him, and we consider you part of our family. So if anybody ever wants to come to Kentucky, you know, just call TaylorMade. We'd love to host you and meet you and continue our relationship and our friendship as a family. Thank you.
My name is Logan Payne. I'm the farm manager at TaylorMade Farms. John Hall was my very first boss. I started at TaylorMade and in the equine industry on August 27th, 2011. Even though my dad had been working with horses his whole life, my brother grew up with horses, I'd actually never touched a horse until that day. You know, Tennessee walkers, yeah, but never an actual thoroughbred. And so on that day, you know, the night before, my brother had asked me, I was a senior in college, and my brother had asked me if I wanted to come out and give it a shot because John needed some help in the barns. So I show up to the barns that morning and I have no idea what's going on or what to do, and nervous as can be. And I'm in a yearling barn during prep, and John Hall comes up to me, which I had met John Hall before, but this was the first time working underneath him. And he goes, John, I've never worked with horses, so just please take it with a grain of salt there. And he goes, well, I'll make sure I won't give you the toughest yearling. He goes, go to paddock 13, grab that horse. He goes, he's a real nice, easy horse. Bring him in, and we'll just take it from there. Since then, John has taught me a lot. You know, him and Steve Avery are two of my biggest mentors in the horse industry. As far as learning everything I have, you know, not too many people start out at 21 with never touching a horse, and John really took me under his wing. My most memorable times with John were the poker nights. We had great times with the poker nights. You know, Steve, Brian Lyle, all those guys. It was such a good time. And you know, John really brought in a lot of, I always say this word wrong, but camaraderie within the farm. You know, to this day, no one has brought in so much camaraderie than John Hall has, and those poker nights really did that. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk about was John Hall's laugh. John Hall has the most characteristic laugh that no one will ever forget, that just goes deep down to the belly type of laugh. I'll always remember that. And of course, like everyone says, John Hall's got the greatest smile ever. Other than that, you know, I really miss John, and I'm really grateful to have him, to have had him in my life. And he's really been an inspiration in the person that I am today.
Hey, I'm Levi Dunlap. I grew up at TaylorMade, so I came to TaylorMade full-time in 2008 to work under John in the yearling complex. I started with him, worked with him quite a few years, went to another farm, you know, went all over the farm, and became a manager on the other side with mares and foals. Your grandfather was one of the greatest, great teacher, great horseman, great person, loved everybody, loved to have a lot of fun. We golfed plenty times together. I actually went through a very tough time in my life around when your grandfather officially retired. He came back to help manage this farm in his own retirement time in my stead while I was away for 30 days, and he stayed another 60 days to help me get back going. Gave me my first AA book and set me up with my first sponsor in Alcoholics Anonymous. You know, put me on the right path, never judged me, because he knew right what I was going through, and just always kept faith in me no matter what. Said, you know, you can do it. We can overcome anything. You're a great horseman. And we just always stayed in touch through that. He came back for sales, but he would always text me, check in with the family, everything, putting me above it all. I mean, in his own retirement, to stop what he was doing with that, and in his time to come help me through a needy time, just showed how selfless he was, and how, you know, he's just so pro-human, and anybody he met that he touched. So I appreciate being able to share with you all just how much he meant to me, and I know how much he meant to everybody else that he came in contact with.
I'm Jacqueline Kent. From Maryland. I'm a groom for TaylorMade and sometimes show person. I'm one of those nobodies that John made a somebody, and I will always be grateful for that smile, and I will try to use the lessons that he taught in my own life and hopefully be a person more like him.
Javier Hernandez,
I'm Ariel Cheshire.
Michael John, and Samuel.
Okay. We just wanted you to know how much Mr. John Hall meant to us. He was just wonderful. He helped the course of our lives a lot, that's for sure.
All right, so this is for the grandparents.
No, the grandkids.
The grandkids, sorry,
Yes,
yeah.
grandkids.
The grandkids, yes. We got to meet under John's management. I worked for him for a few years, and pretty much I know him like for 20 years. He's been part of my life since I came to the States. He helped me a bunch. He was a very, very big part of my life. I almost wanted to call him Dad because I left so early on my days that he was like the second person here at TaylorMade that gives me a hand, and believe it or me.
Thank you.
We were very, very glad, and shit, I mean,
language.
That's all right. We were very glad he was part of our lives. He watched these two grow. He watched our relationship grow in the industry and professionally, and I don't know, like familiarly, like I don't know. He was part of our lives. And anyway, with the horses and all the horse, he would come to town and he would come and say hi.
Everybody who worked for John became part of John's
Exactly,
life.
yes.
100%.
We were just very glad that we knew him, and he watched these two, Michael John.
From before they were born.
From before
I
they
worked
were born.
for John
So-
Hall at the sales when I was pregnant with both of them. So
So
it was
you guys are very glad that
Yes.
you had a really good, very, very good godfather,
Grandfather.
grandfather that he will worry about everybody, not just us.
Yes.
Everybody.
And he could take one look at a person and know exactly the best place to put them here at the sales so that they could reach their full potential. He was
Yes.
just remarkable.
So now we all have an angel up there. He's gonna look after us like he did down here, maybe even better. So we got him in our hearts. We got him in our memories. We got so many good memories out of him that we cannot even have the rest of our lives to say. Period. Thank you for letting him be part of our lives. He's gonna be part of your future. He's gonna be watching after you guys, and he's gonna be hoping for the best.
Yes.